Anybody who's actually dedicated to being a mentor has my respect. Like those people who just set aside their time to, and these are very long games. These can be like 5-hour games, right? That's a lot of time. But you know, that's what our community is full of. It's full of people who want to give back and want to get people into the hobby. So you're in the right place. All right, so let's go. Okay, so we let's recap as to what we did here. We learned how to mess with Battlescribe to make our rosters. All right, and then we got into Battlescribe to TTS, how to import those rosters. But we're going to go over a little bit some of the more advanced features of Battlescribe to TTS. There's some really useful things that you can learn. Now, we'll just start off here. Now, what if you have a horde army that has lots of squads, and you're going to be playing a game where, you know, you're going to be charging up any reason. It could be for any reason, right? So here's what you do, okay? You select the unit of what you want to distinct, right? Let's say we were gonna name this. We're gonna make this we want this to be distinguished differently from these other squads of conscripts. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna highlight them, like so, and you're gonna hit numpad 1. All right. Numpad 1 is gonna bring up this menu here. All right. And I'll get into all the other ones. Let me just show you this really quick. If you come down to the bottom of this menu, of this window, you'll have these little tabs of colors. All right. Now, if you click them with the highlight selected and exit, that squad is now red. Okay. Now, it uses TTS's highlight feature, but, you know, now you know, without having to name everything or mess around with notes on it, now you know that this is your red squad. Okay. You know, you have these guys here. You know, maybe you want to put them somewhere on the board. I should probably load up a test map, huh? The next thing that I want to talk about is these menus, right? I probably should have talked about this first before the colors, but whatever. It doesn't matter. This is off the script. Alright, so when you hit numpad 1, it brings up this contextual menu. Alright, what you'll have here is a name of the model that you have selected. Alright, it has your costs here. These are really quick referencing things, and it's your opponent can do this too, so they can also reference their profiles and whatnot. Okay, you'll have the special abilities down here. This is using the information from Battlescribe. You have your profiles down here. You know, movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, attacks, leadership, saves. Here's your weapon profiles. They all have frag. Oh, well, they all have frag grenades. It's really abilities blast. Okay, they updated that. Cool. Last guns. Okay, rapid fire 1. Right, and so your opponent can actually reference this as well. Yeah. So they'll be able to do this. They'll be able to look at these, and so it's very important, especially when you have like HQ things that nobody really knows what. Just hitting numpad 1 on these guys will bring up their, you know, abilities. I know one of these guys is our Warlord. This is our Warlord here. Keyword Warlord. And then they have the weapons and all that good stuff there for everyone to reference. Okay. So that is how we look at the contextual menus. Does Battlescribe CTS work with other games like Age of Sigmar and Horus Heresy? No, I don't think so. Is there any way to change the stats on that page for any increase, like DE combat drugs, Dark Eldar combat drugs? You know what you would do. What you can do is you could kind of right click and, you know, add these things, or maybe you want to edit the name to indicate some kind of change for the unit. That's always a good thing. But no, there's no real way to add changes to the contextual menu. Now there are some other abilities that you can do. Let's talk a little bit about multi-wounded, multi-wound units, right? Now every one of my basilisks has an 11 out of 11 and then the name, right? It says 11/11, right? That's what we use to track the wounds, okay? Now let's say that someone attacked my basilisk and gave it like 3 wounds, right? If I hit numpad 2, why is it going by 2? That's weird. Occasionally this kind of bug happens. I think it's a bug. Alright, let's go to a model that... Oh, I know what. Let me try reloading this army in again. I think there might be an issue with when you double load armies. Let me try this again. It's not perfect, I will tell you guys. I'll be honest with you, but it's very, very good. Alright, that seemed to be an issue. Okay, so basically, let me go back to what I was saying before. If you take wounds or you gain wounds or whatever, hitting numpad 2 will reduce the wound by 1. Hitting numpad 3 will add 1 wound. So this is just a small quality of life kind of change, but I mean it's enough to mention, right? So just a very quick way to add and allocate wounds especially on multi-wound models. I believe there was some kind of issue where I loaded the army twice in a map, and then so the inputs doubled for whatever reason. I don't know why. So that's numpad 2 and numpad 3. Okay. Next one, numpad 4. Numpad 4 and 5 add this sort of circle. It's like it's a circle. Obviously it's a circle. I say that because there's a spear, cylindrical one. But anyway, you can measure out and quickly create these lines, right? So I'll tell you some of the practical reasons for this, why you would want that. What if you're trying to make it in a way that you're holding one end of the map and you want to deny deep strike area, right? So you would, this would be a very good indication as to where the enemy cannot deep strike, because this is a 9-inch radius circle. So like, this would deny, and we're gonna do this. This would deny that. Right? And so this will very quickly show us a radius around each of the models. So, I mean, my most practical use for this is denying area for deep striking, because deep strike, you can't deep strike within 9 inches of an enemy model. This is a very quick way to find out what's within 9 inches of a model, right? But this could be used for something else. Maybe you wanna measure the distance. Maybe you wanna measure the range of things. 48 inches of range. I guess you could do that. That's absurd. Is this gonna be on YouTube? I'll try my best, bud. What else? Yeah, it's very useful because you could do this in ways where it's very practical for you to do. Maybe you want to find out what your rapid fire range is very quickly. These conscripts have 24, so that would be like 14 inches of range. I'm sorry, 12 inches of range for rapid fire. So, you would measure it from back there, or maybe you want to measure it from back here. 12 inches of range gets rapid fire. The uses for this is kind of, limitless. And hitting numpad 5 reduces the range of it, by the way, until it's nothing. So just mouse over the unit and hit those numpad 4 and 5. All right. Now, what if your model is on a base that is cylindrical? Yeah, okay. So I think I broke it. I don't know how I did that. Did I copy? It's not perfect, guys. Okay, back to 11 wounds. Measuring, okay. So hitting numpad 6 changes the shape. Yeah. So some bases are cylindrical, like egg shape. Like Riptides and other models like that, Mauler Fiends, these very these egg-shaped things. This is a good way to measure that, right? And so numpad 6 and numpad 7 will rotate these bases for you. Okay. Yeah. Numpad 7 seems to do a whole bunch of different. Their base map index. I don't know what that means, but yeah, mess around with this if you have, just cycle between numpad 6 and numpad 7 to kind of mess around with these kind of shapes, right? And then there's like, you know, things that you can do where it's like it doesn't have the second cylinder, or, you know, you want it so you have like a minimum distance. You kind of have those kind of tools available for you. Numpad 8. Measuring 3 inches. I don't know what Numpad 8 does. It does something. This is as intuitive as the Star Wars Legion mod. It's not that bad. But you know, you have the tools available for you to help with quality of life stuff. And so, is there anything else that I'm missing? I think that is about it. You've got your profiles here on your contextual menu. You hit numpad 1 to bring this up. You've got the color panels here to allow you to change the unit's color. You have your quick wound tracker with numpad 2 and numpad 3. Then you have your radius with numpad 4 and 5. How do you deal with multi-levels on a building? You know, okay, so if somebody's doing a good job with their mesh, they're gonna have it so can this go down? Let me was it tuck? Yeah, if you're doing a good job with your mesh, you'll have it like this, right? So there's no mesh here on the first floor on the walls. There's only a mesh down here and a mesh on the second floor. So hopefully, if you're playing on a good map that has consideration to players, you'll have a mesh map that's similar to this. If you're unfortunate, and if you're unfortunate enough to have a weird building with just horrible collision maps, my friend, good luck to you. I hope that it works out for you. The best thing I can tell you at that point is, you know, get ready to Finnick. There are some things that you can do. Obviously, your auto raise lifts the object up. That's this value up here. If you hit R, you can raise it even higher. Okay. If you're holding it and you need to kind of tuck it, you can either hit T or hold down right mouse button, and that will get you to tuck underneath, right? So above. But as you can see, it's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. Okay? That's the best advice I can give you. Obviously, this is a fantastically meshed map. It's not very appealing as a playmat per se, but the guy did a good job meshing his model. So I think you hold control, it measures. Are you talking about lifting up models and measuring their distance like this? Yep. That's actually holding down tab. All right. So if you want to make measurements and stuff, I was hoping that they had a quick upright. Oh well, guess not. Yeah, so like if you want to measure out distances, it's a very easy process, by the way. All right, let's just say that we need to run past these buildings, right? You actually wouldn't do this because it's not really for the rules. You have to measure a little bit more in depthly than this. But let's say we wanted to move them out 10 inches. If you hold down the tab key while you're holding the models in your hand, you'll have the line tool pop up. And it's very useful, right? It helps you measure these distances out. There you go. Now let's say that we have, you know, maybe there's something over here and we want to determine some ranges, right? Basically, what you would do is you would hold down tab. And what happens is that it snaps, the line tool snaps around the base of the model. Okay? And then it'll snap to the other model. Okay? Very useful for determining ranges, unit cohesion, you know, just charge distances. Just checked if it works for Horus Heresy. It does. Oh, okay. Right on, man. That's good. So yeah, like there's this is how you would measure your distances out. And anything with a collision, it will snap to. I thought that was an excellent feature that TTS added, and it really does help. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this segment. Do we have any questions with the advanced features for Battlescribe to TTS? You can go ahead and ask me anything. I will answer to the best of my ability. Does that always snap to the closest part of the model? Not always the closest part of the model, no. It does snap to the base of the model. So like, even with this, I'm not 100 if this is a thing anymore, but I think this is how you measure, right? Because the base is back here, right? But this is the closest part of the model, right? So there's still some instances where you would actually measure freely. Unless that was changed in 9th edition. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So that's really cool that it works. I don't actually know. Hey, hi there, Cthulhu 786. We're just teaching people the intricacies of Battlescribe to TTS.